What's up, guys? Welcome back to another Commander Deck Tech. This week we are doing Zur the Enchanter. Um, this commander gets a lot of hate. This is the commander that Post Malone got his own version of post the Enchanter. Um, this is nowhere near as expensive as his deck, and this is nowhere near the usual way people build this deck. So a lot of the times when you see Zur the Enchanter, well, let's see what he says here. It says, whenever Zur the Enchanter attacks, you may search your library for an enchantment card with converted mana cost 3 or less and put it on the battlefield. If you do, shuffle your library. So usually people build this really stacksy. This is not a stacks deck. This is actually a very oddball build of Zur. I'm calling it Zurtron. I haven't heard anyone else call it Zurtron. I haven't seen any other builds like this, to my knowledge. So we're calling it Zurtron. It's pretty much Zur the Enchanter, Voltron. Yeah, you could definitely build stacks if you want. Lots of different ways to build stacks, but for the main part, we're just doing some Voltron. I felt like it'd be fun. There are a couple of enchantments to screw with our opponents a little bit, blind obedience, rest in peace, a couple of things that just kind of slow our opponents down a little bit. But overall, it is not stacksy. So like always, the deck list will be in the description box. I'm not going to go over the lands because it would just take too long to go over all the lands in the deck because there's a stack of lands. So we're going to skip the lands, but like always, it will be in the description box if you guys want to check out the full list. If you want to try to build, try the deck, check it out down below. So we're going to jump right into this with the creatures. Now there's only 10 creatures that I'm running outside of Zur. Colonial Autumn. Lifelink, exploit. Other legendary creatures you control have exploit. And whenever a creature you control exploits a creature, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. So just kind of an easy way to put some counters on, like, let's say Zur, and we are running 6 total legendaries, if you count Zur, 5 in the deck. Next one is Linvala, Shield of Seagate. You can sacrifice her and choose Hexproof or Indestructible. Creatures you control gain that ability until end of turn. Her first ability on her doesn't really work for us really much. It says if you control a full party at the beginning of your combat, you can choose target non-land, permanent, and opponent controls. Until your next turn, it can't attack, block, and its activated abilities can't be activated. So, to my knowledge, there's no way we can make a full party in this deck. But the bottom is mainly why she's in here for the Indestructible. We got Lisa, Shroud of Dusk. Rather than pay 2 to play it from the command zone, you can pay 2 life. And whenever a player casts a spell, they lose 2 life. Pretty much after we get Zur set up, with like Lightning Greaves or some kind of protection, we don't really have to cast much from our deck. And if we do, losing 2 life one time isn't going to be bad because 90% of our enchantments we're going to be playing for free. With Zur, when he attacks, obviously there is going to be times he might get blown up or something. But generally, you're not playing your enchantments free. And if you need to use an instant or a sorcery once or whatever, losing 2 life's not that big a deal. But definitely screws with our opponents. Calfee, Beloved of the Sea. It pretty much gives your creatures ward 1. They have to pay an additional 1 to target it. We got Tameshi, Reality Architect. We are running a lot of enchantments in this deck, so a way to cycle through our enchantments and also our artifacts. And then next creature is Core Cartographer to find the planes. Sun Titan, because all of our enchantments are 3 or less. A couple of our creatures are 3 or less, and a few of our artifacts are 3 or less. So tons of value with the Sun Titan. We got an Auramancer because we're playing enchantments, Reflector Mage, and Walking Atlas because we don't have green, so way to play extra land every turn if we can. So those are the creatures in the deck. The artifacts in the deck. We got the staples. We got Lightning Greaves, Swiftfoot Boots, Soul Ring, Demir Cluestone, Azorius Signet, Commander Sphere, and Arcane Signet. So your basic mana rocks, and then your set of boots. So jumping into the artifacts, or not the artifacts, the enchantments of the deck. Like I said, we're playing a Voltron build, so we have a couple of aura enchantments. We got Abzan Runemark, Benevolent Blessing, Mogus Favor, Starlit Mantle, Frogify, So Shiny, to target our opponent's stuff with those two. Invisibility, Curiosity, Ancestral Vengeance. This one was fun. Give something -1/-1, and you put a +1/+1 counter on one of your creatures. Inevitable End, because playing Voltron, eventually Zuri will die, generally. Cartouche of Solidarity, Curious Obsession, Minion Return, Minimus Containment, Rousing Reed, Squire's Devotion. Those are the aura enchantments we're running in the deck. Then for the other enchantments, we're running Hoofprints of the Stag. Now this one was an odd one for me. Whenever you draw a card, you put a Hoofprint counter on it, and then you can pay 3 and remove 4 Hoofprint counters to make a 4/4 white elemental creature token with flying. So you're gonna draw cards, obviously, and then with like Curious Obsession, and Rousing Reed and Curiosity, like you're gonna be drawing extra cards. So why not make some 4/4 flyers in the meantime? We got Copy Enchantment, Blind Obedience, Glorious Anthem, Rest in Peace, Together Forever, Banishing Light, Good Old Land Tax, because we want to handle land drops, Mirror Maid, Sparring Regimen, and Karmic Justice. So Karmic Justice is actually a lot better in this than I thought. Whenever a spell or ability an opponent controls destroys a non-creature permanent you control, you may destroy target permanent that opponent controls. So obviously we're playing Voltron, we're playing a lot of enchantments. Sometimes the best target is not the creature itself, it's the stuff attached to it. So Karmic Justice kind of helps us even out the board state a little bit when they start blowing up our enchantments. Now we got some instants: Settle the Wreckage, Brainstorm, Path to Exile, Price of Fame, Opt, Memory Drain, Rewind, Family Reunion, Counterspell, Experimental Augury, Fracture, and Holy Day. I feel like that's a pretty standard lineup there. Counter spells, some draw spells, and some removal. Sorceries, we have Triumphant Reckoning, Solve the Equation, Time Wipe, Diabolic Tutor, Serum Visions, In Garrick's Wake, and Route. So again, a bunch of removal, some draw stuff, and some tutors, because who doesn't want a tutor? So this is my Zerdy Enchanter deck. Like I said, it is not Staxy at all. It's a Voltron version of it. Let me know in the comment section below. Do you think this is a decent deck? I've played it on Spell Table quite a bit, and I've been fairly happy with the results. I can't complain too much. It wins more games than it loses, but it's definitely not perfect, because Voltron in a multiplayer format is kind of rough, but one of my favorite playstyles. Being one of my favorite decks was SRAM, Senior Edificer Equipments. This is definitely right up my alley for decks I like to play. So leave a comment down below. Let me know if you guys would play this deck. Is this something you like? Is it maybe a deck you enjoy or a deck you hate? You see Zur and you're like, oh, that player has to go. Let me know. And I will see you guys in the next video.